Chapter 81 Dark Blue Silver Grass. You are listening at novelfull.audio. The first 3 soul rings were not chosen wrongly, they are Mandrake Snake, Ghost Vine Snake, and Viper. The 4th soul ring should not be the green phosphorus flower, but the blue silver grass to strengthen the body strength. Otherwise, when the Man-Sha pearl flower poison is formed, the energy of the blue silver grass alone cannot bear the cost. The 4th and 5th soul rings should be blue silver grass, at least upgraded to the strength of the 1000-year blue silver grass, before trying to integrate the Bianhua. Han Tao listened very seriously. It was related to the evolution of his martial soul, and any information could not be missed. 1000-year blue silver grass is the basis for bearing the Bianhua poison. 1000-year blue silver grass corresponds to the intermediate martial soul, with a growth base of 0.6. After the 5th soul ring, take the Mandrake poison and Viper poison in turn, and then communicate with the netherworld. Then you can reproduce Man-Sha pearl flower and the magnificence of the Bianhua. Speaking of this, Ning Rongrong opened the soul guide and began to search. Finally, she picked out a book. Encyclopedia of Soul Beast Characteristics, a very general book. The book opened, motioning Han Tao to look over. For Mandrake toxin, you can choose Mandrake snakes and Mandrake flowers. Mandrake flower soul beasts can live to 10,000 years old. The strongest Viper toxin is the Sea Viper soul beast, and it also contains a trace of extreme ice, which can be used as a medicine to communicate with the netherworld. The Sea Viper, which appeared in the original book, is a very poisonous soul beast. Only sea vipers over 10,000 years old can have a trace of extreme ice. As for the last item, communicating with the netherworld. I wonder if you have heard of a martial soul, the netherworld white tiger. Han Tao nodded and gave the answer. Well, it's the martial soul fusion skill of the Xinglua Empire royal family. The netherworld white tiger is formed by the fusion of the evil-eyed white tiger and the netherworld spirit cat martial soul. The netherworld spirit cat and the netherworld white tiger both have a trace of netherworld power. Han Tao thought it was a bit outrageous that Yang Wudi said before that the ghost vine could communicate with the netherworld. How can a soul beast of 700 years old do this? If it can really communicate with the netherworld, then the royal children of the Xinglua Empire, who have been taking ghost vine spirit rings, can they evolve the netherworld white tiger alone? Ning Rongrong's ability to express herself is very limited. Sometimes, her thoughts are so wild that Han Tao can't keep up with the pace at all, but Han Tao wrote down the words one by one, sorted them out and thought about them repeatedly, and still came to a certain conclusion. This is a feasible way. Use the mixture, refinement, and integration of several toxins to obtain the so-called, rumored, Man-Sha Zhuhua toxin. Then use Man-Sha Zhuhua and blue silver grass to form the unique ecology of the ice and fire Yin-Yang eye. Then use the green phosphorus toxin to wrap it, so as to form a martial soul beyond the extreme. Complexity is the only explanation at this moment. A mixture of multiple toxins has already killed Han Tao, not to mention the mixture of multiple toxins. It also has to form a certain ecology, and it also has to stimulate the wrapped green phosphorus poison. Forget it, take your time. Han Tao recognizes reality. He admits that his pharmacology is not good, at least not as good as Ning Rongrong. Yang Wudi did not give an answer either. Either he was keeping it to himself or his level was not good enough. Perhaps Ning Rongrong's pharmacology level has surpassed Yang Wudi. Talent, spirituality, money, self-help. Many people like to attribute other people's achievements to chance, but in fact this is wrong. Achievements are never due to one side, but a mixture of multiple factors. The financial resources of the 7 Treasures Glazed sect can support Ning Rongrong to do various experiments, and research and experiments are inseparable. Without experimental data, there will be no conclusions and no theoretical results. Self-help is easier to understand. Why Ning Rongrong worked hard to learn pharmacology, because she would die if she was not good at pharmacology. The conflict of fairy grass and the toxicity of fairy grass would kill her. Only by continuous learning and continuous research can we find ways to deal with it and seek survival. Ning Rongrong, can you cultivate a blue-silver grass that is stronger than the 4 poisonous blue-silver grass? In Han Tao's eyes, the 4 poisonous blue-silver grass is the strongest blue-silver grass at present. He has no means to cultivate a stronger existence. but Ning Rongrong is different. She is better at pharmacology than me. Maybe she has a different idea. Ning Rongrong carefully observed the 4 poisonous blue-silver grass in Han Tao's hand. Mandragora snake, ghost vine, human-faced demon spider. The 4th type of underground demon spider. What rubbish? Ning Rongrong hesitated. Only Han Tao could come up with such a weird advancement direction. If there were no other means, Han Tao's blue-silver grass would probably be useless. There was a little regret in her eyes. Although some achievements were made in a short period of time, in the long run, the wrong route is wrong, the upper limit is locked, and short-term growth is meaningless. Forget it, let me help you. She pulled up the blue-silver grass by the roots, and then walked towards the junction of 8-angled mysterious ice grass and fiery apricot delicate, inserting the blue-silver grass in the middle. It was like building a grave, full of joy. The 3rd soul skill, Blue-Silver Eye. Han Tao summoned his own blue-silver eye to observe the new changes in the blue-silver grass. With the alternation of ice and fire, the poison of the mandragora snake and the ghost vine was gradually washed away and dissipated by the power of ice and fire. Yes, the first 2 toxins began to retreat and dissipate, as if all the dross was washed away, only spider toxins remained. Pure spider toxins, under the pressure of the Yin-Yang eyes of ice and fire. These spider toxins began to condense and refine, becoming a new main body. After being refined, the spider toxins took the initiative of the toxins. They began to absorb the power of the Yin-Yang eyes of ice and fire, and weak ice and fire immunity appeared. Everything returned to the beginning. Oh, that's it. This route is the path that Tang San has taken, with spider toxins as the core toxin. The Yin-Yang eyes of ice and fire remove the rest of the miscellaneous toxins and grow into the next stage of blue-silver grass. In the future, spirit rings that only absorb spider toxins can also open up a new evolutionary route, from the human-faced demon spider to the crypt demon spider, to the human-faced demon spider emperor, and finally the soul-devouring spider emperor. The route of dark blue-silver grass. Han Tao seemed to have thought of this, with devouring as authority, the path of an evil soul master. Tang San's 8 spider lance and Tanya's dark blue-silver grass both belong to this growth route. It shouldn't be. The most famous thing about the dark blue-silver grass is its devouring ability, but devouring is not the essence of the blue-silver grass. Han Tao looked down on devouring. Devouring and adapting are essentially passive changes, uncontrollable, irreversible, and in a myriad of directions, compared with the mod authority displayed by the spiritual body integrating into the martial soul. The former 2 can only be regarded as a joke. Fusion of the martial soul body. Han Tao can modify, delete, and add the corresponding characteristics of the blue-silver grass unscrupulously. This ability does not devour evil, but the effect is much more powerful than devouring. For example, now. Since the new evolutionary direction of the blue-silver grass has appeared, so I can copy it. Thinking of this moment, Han Tao summoned his martial soul. Chapter 82 Human-Faced Demonic Spider King. You are listening at NovelFull.audio. Ice and fire Yin-Yang eyes, there is such a special function. Wash away the inferior mixed toxins. Under the interweaving of ice and fire, the 2 toxins of mandrake snake and ghost vine gradually faded and dissolved. Han Tao summoned his own blue-silver grass, running the 6th level of distraction control method. The boundless external perception appeared in his mind again, and Han Tao found the light in front of him. The 1,000-year-old blue-silver grass located in the center of the 2 immortal grasses. With the linkage of mind and spirit, Han Tao began to perceive its microscopic characteristics and composition. Copy. A strong sense of separation came from the martial soul. This feeling is quite bad. Han Tao has always had positive growth in the adaptation of his martial soul, and rarely negative growth, but now, removing the 2 toxins is negative growth for the blue-silver grass. The spirit has degenerated. But the blue-silver grass has a wider space for growth. Next, we need to find several types of spider toxins to adapt. I think the growth base of the blue-silver grass can return to 0.7. Yes, after removing the mandrake toxin and ghost vine toxin, Han Tao's spirit quality returned to 0.6, this is the level of an intermediate spirit. It seems that there are no spider toxins around the Yin-Yang eye of ice and fire. What a pity. Han Tao sighed secretly. Is it possible to try using spider toxins to get out of the dark blue silver grass? You seem a little disappointed. Seeing Han Tao's expression, Ning Rongrong asked on the side. Is it because there is no spider toxin here that can't make your spirit evolve? Don't worry. She opened the soul guide on her wrist and kept groping in it. After a long time, she took out a bottle of spider venom. Human-faced demon spider toxin, 1,500 years old, is nothing in ordinary terms. Fortunately, I have another thing. She took out a white condensate from the soul guide again. Han Tao was full of doubts. This thing seemed familiar. This is the crystal formed by the medicinal power of the snow swan kiss that I intercepted. If I hadn't collected it at the beginning, it might have completely destroyed this place. Ning Rongrong pretended to be terrified and took out the remains of the snow swan kiss. Is the snow swan kiss too terrifying? This blue silver grass may not be able to withstand its strength. In fact, there is no need to be so anxious. Han Tao took a half step back as if he was avoiding it, and instinctively stayed away from the white condensate. Ning Rongrong used his soul power to lift part of the medicinal power of the snow swan kiss in the air, and then took out a jade piece to cut it. Don't worry, as long as you control the dosage, there won't be too many problems. Besides, this is just 1,000-year-old blue silver grass, not a precious treasure. Ning Rongrong is a local rich man with a large family and a large business, so of course he doesn't care about these experimental losses. As long as you do experiments, how can there be no losses? How can you grow into a genius if you are afraid of this and that? This is what Dean Flanders said. Okay. As the cutting progressed, a trace of the medicinal power of the snow swan kiss was extracted. Ning Rongrong carefully weighed the weight and then put it into the human-faced demon spider toxin. The purple energy mixed with the white medicinal properties, like violent gunpowder, burst out with surging energy fluctuations. Fortunately, around the Yin-Yang eye of ice and fire, there are layers of poison barriers, endless poison barriers. Even if someone can feel this change, they can't come in from the outside. Affected by the snow swan kiss, the human-faced demon spider toxin spread thousands of times, but because of the limited amount, the spread only lasted for a moment and had to stop. Is it okay? Han Tao looked at the medicine bottle emitting a faint purple light. It's okay. Don't you need to shake it? Han Tao made a suggestion. Ning Rongrong paused, thought about it, and nodded in agreement. It does need to be shaken. I neglected it. While speaking, she called on her soul power again and began to fiddle with the bottle of poison. After a long time, she handed the poison to Han Tao. The superior of the human-faced demon spider toxin is the human-faced demon spider king toxin, which can be used as the material for the evolution of the blue silver grass. After taking the poison, Han Tao came to the side of the blue silver grass and waited quietly. The Yin-Yang eyes of ice and fire can cleanse the toxins in the blue silver grass, but the cleansing requires a process and is not done overnight. Run the healing soul skill and release it on the blue silver grass. After a long time, Han Tao took out a drop of venom and dropped it on the blue silver grass. Tick. A crisp sound came from the blue silver grass, but it seems that there is no change. Han Tao could not feel the changes of the blue silver grass from the outside. I think only through the practice of mimicry and the completion of the spiritual connection can we get the perception of the blue silver grass. So, Han Tao sat down and prepared to practice mimicry. Wait! Ning Rongrong came forward and pulled the corner of Han Tao's clothes. Her voice was a little anxious. Han Tao's heart suddenly shrank, suddenly reacted and felt a little scared. Damn, I almost got it. The toxin of human-faced demon spider king is a spiritual toxin that can attack the spirit of the blue silver grass. The spirit of the blue silver grass is a whole, and it still has spare power to face this kind of killing, but I am different. Once I complete the spiritual connection with the blue silver grass through the practice of mimicry, he will also be attacked by mental poisons, and in his current state, he cannot resist this damage. It seems that I have no way to record its changes. This is a loss for the experimenter. By the way, what did you just pull me to do? Turning to look at Ning Rongrong, Han Tao felt very grateful. Have no idea. Ning Rongrong was a little confused. What are you thinking about? I clearly remembered it just now, but now forget. Forget it, I have to thank you anyway. Han Tao's tone was more solemn. Ning Rongrong was at a loss for a moment, but just when her thoughts were wandering, Han Tao turned his attention back to the topic. It seems that adaptation is over. To be on the safe side, let's wait another 2 hours. Han Tao was not sure whether there would be a delay in the poison of this human-faced demon spider king. He wasn't going to take the risk. An hour, 2 hours, time passed in quiet waiting. Ning Rongrong sat quietly aside, looking at Han Tao's profile. Han Tao was a little sleepy. He was very tired from running around for several days. Before I knew it, I actually fell asleep. Breathe. 2 days later, slowly, Han Tao opened his eyes. Light once again occupied his vision. He raised his head, looked around, and looked at his feet. Ice and fire eyes. A dark blue silver grass that has completed its advancement is swaying. You're awake. Ning Rongrong's voice came from the side. Han Tao nodded. This is a rare moment of rest. His mental power is still declining, and the shadow of death keeps chasing behind him. Han Tao sat cross-legged next to the blue-silver grass and began to use the 6th level of the distraction control method. A shining star was shining in front of his eyes. Psychotoxin, spider toxin. The human-faced demon spider is an existence that devours life. Devouring is its instinct and its authority. Chapter 83 Restraint. You are listening at NovelFull.audio. The route formed by the toxin of the human-faced demon spider is exactly the future dark blue-silver grass. Blue-silver grass has the ability to devour. This is Han Tao's first discovery. After absorbing the toxin of the human-faced demon spider king, the blue-silver grass officially stepped into the dark blue-silver grass route. Blue-silver grass can only devour life energy, not soul power and mental power. Maybe it's just not possible at this stage. It may be possible in the future. According to the performance of the 8th spider lance in the original work, Tang San can absorb the soul power of other soul masters. When the blue-silver grass touches the enemy's wound, it can activate its innate talent and absorb the enemy's vitality. Is vitality equivalent to physical strength? No, it is more like the power of origin. The devouring of blue-silver grass cannot affect the upper limit. What are the characteristics of the power of origin? It is difficult to recover. If you want to restore all the martial soul origins, you need to spend a year of practice to do it. The same is true for vitality. If you lose too much vitality, it will also affect the soul master's practice and even cause the soul master's death. Miscellaneous. The vitality devoured by the blue-silver grass cannot be integrated with one's own vitality. This is Han Tao's second discovery. Every soul master and every soul beast has a different physique and different genes, so the vitality presented is also completely different. Rashly absorbing the vitality of others is not necessarily a good thing for one's own growth. Of course, if you have the protagonist's halo, or great luck, then it is an exception. How did Tang San eliminate these mixed vitality? Han Tao thought for a long time, and he had a guess. The Yin-Yang eyes of ice and fire washed away the inferior toxins of the martial soul. After obtaining the godhood, Tang San still did not deal with these mixed vitality. What really made him refreshed was the resurrection divine light. After resurrection, all states were reshaped. These mixed vitality, various messy soul power characteristics, and various existences that affect growth all disappeared. Did you succeed? At the same time as the guess was made, a voice came from the side. Yeah. The current blue-silver grass is of high-level martial spirit quality, and is extremely close to the top martial spirit. This time, the martial spirit improvement benefit is quite considerable, and the growth base has returned to 0.7, reaching the high-level martial spirit. Moreover, the evolutionary route of the blue-silver grass has been opened at this time, and it only needs a little more help to break through to the top martial spirit. Maybe. I want to tell you a bad news. Looking at Han Tao with a face full of joy, Ning Rongrong poured a basin of cold water on him. What news? Han Tao looked puzzled. Although your blue-silver grass is close to the top martial spirit, but no matter how your blue-silver grass evolves, it is always suppressed by me. Ning Rongrong couldn't help laughing. she let out a few hee weird laughs. Very happy, she summoned her 9 treasures glazed tower and stood above the blue-silver grass. Han Tao could feel that the 9 treasures glazed tower had oppressed his blue-silver grass. The strength was significantly reduced, at least half weakened. Why is it restrained? That the 7 treasures glazed tower is the puzzle of the blue-silver king, Han Tao admitted, but his blue-silver grass has surpassed the strength of the blue-silver king's martial soul. Why is it still restrained? Unbelievable, difficult to understand. Chilua Tulip. Chilua Tulip restrains the blue-silver king, the blue-silver king restrains the blue-silver grass, and I ate Chilua Tulip. Chilua Tulip can suppress the strength of half of the plant-type soul beasts, including the blue-silver king. Not only blue-silver grass, almost all plant-type martial souls are within its restraint range. How can there be such a heaven-defying fairy grass, that there are almost no weak fairy grasses? The snow swan kiss is underestimated, and Chilua Tulip is also underestimated. Chilua Tulip restrains blue-silver grass, and blue-silver emperor, as the upper level of blue-silver grass, also restrains blue-silver grass. On the Douluo continent, there may be some unknown existences that restrain blue-silver grass. So, is there any way to eliminate this restraint relationship? Being restrained is a very uncomfortable thing. Han Tao was unwilling to accept it, but he had no choice but to accept it. Of course he would not give up, from a weak state to where he is now. It was not the will of heaven that mattered, but the accumulation of theories bit by bit and the exploration of practice time and time again. Han Tao kept this matter in mind and engraved it deep in his mind. This. Perhaps. If you understand this part, you may be able to reach the 3rd stage of blue-silver grass. Han Tao had a bold guess. The first 2 stages of blue-silver grass evolution. The first stage is adaptation, using various external forces, passive adaptation, and making blue-silver grass gradually stronger. In the second stage, according to Han Tao's cognition, the essence of blue-silver grass is plasticity. Plasticity means that it can be cultivated, through specific methods and specific conditions. Guide blue-silver grass to various evolutionary routes. He is at the back end, sensing the changes in various characteristics, and copying all favorable characteristics. In Han Tao's cognition, the 3rd stage should be the elimination of being restrained. Blue-silver grass, born naturally, jump out of the rank, transcend the elements, be fearless of natural law, and isolate yourself from destiny. Not subject to any conditions, not restrained by all existence. Unfortunately, this stage cannot be understood or involved at this time. Focus on the present. After a long time, Han Tao pulled his thoughts back. The most important thing now is not how to enter the 3rd stage of blue-silver grass, but to find a way to become a top martial soul. Integrate your spiritual body into the martial soul thoroughly and feel the changes in your martial soul. Continue. Use spider toxins to strengthen blue-silver grass again. Maybe not. The strength of this blue-silver grass cannot withstand the toxins of the next stage. This is just 1,000-year-old blue-silver grass, which has reached its carrying limit after absorbing the toxins of the human-faced demon Spider King. If other toxins are applied, it may explode or wither. No, it will definitely wither. There is no second possibility. It seems that it's time to leave. So, Han Tao looked at Ning Rongrong. He was going to participate in the National Elite Soul Master competition and needed a teammate, which required Ning Rongrong's opinion. Ning Rongrong said Wait a moment. She agreed. Ning Rongrong hesitated for a long time, and finally took out the fragrant and beautiful immortal product from the soul guide. Maybe I have to trouble you. Fragrant and beautiful immortal product can only protect one soul master, so I may need your acacia heartbroken red in exchange. Han Tao did not agree. Ning Tian was right, she was really stupid. Acacia heartbroken red will help you integrate the immortal grass in your body, resulting in an increase in soul strength. This will increase the pressure on your physique. Don't you consider this aspect? But Ning Rongrong hesitated. It's not that she didn't think about this possibility, she just chose to ignore it. I can come in from the outside, so I can naturally go out from here. The poison barrier can't stop me. Chapter 84, Yin-Yang Eyes and the Escaped Immortal Grass. You are listening at NovelFull.audio. Poison barrier. The terrifying poisonous barrier is no longer Han Tao's barrier. Following the route he took when he came in, entering the underground and going in the opposite direction, Han Tao can return to where he came from. In the dark tunnel, there was a patter of movement, like traces of some kind of biological activity. Han Tao was a little scared, not afraid of the dark, but in this ghost place, if any soul beast or the like appears, he may not be able to survive. Han Tao, that the sound originates from the rear. It was a female voice, and he understood who it was. How did you come? If you don't have the Yoxiang Chiluo Immortal, the immortal herb known as the nemesis of hundreds of poisons, you can just go out. Why do you want to come with me? That she moved very slowly, groping forward bit by bit, and then firmly grabbed Han Tao's clothes. She said nothing, even the movements are cautious, like a firefly, swooping towards the only light. Han Tao had no way of caring about the situation behind him. He waved his hand casually, and the seeds of blue-silver grass were scattered forward. In-depth perception emerged in Han Tao's mind. Following the guidance of perception, Han Tao moved forward step by step. It seems a bit colder. Perception is extremely sensitive to changes in the environment. Strangeness, too strange. Han Tao noticed something was wrong. Reality and illusion seem to be indistinguishable from each other, and there is no boundary at this moment. When did it start? It seems that it was after Ning Rongrong got close to me. Han Tao took off the porcelain vase engraved with rainbow from his waist, opened the lid, and there is a small white flower inside. White. Han Tao's scalp suddenly tightened. Lovesick heartbroken red will take on the appearance of red ambrosia when it is close to its owner. Ning Rongrong was afraid of lovesickness, and she didn't even dare to get close to this fairy grass. Han Tao slowly turned his head and looked behind him. Ning Rongrong stood there without saying a word, looking at herself quietly. The eyes, nose bridge, breathing, and soul power all looked particularly vivid, so vivid that it made people feel friendly, as if the real Ning Rongrong was here. Did I see it wrong? An illusion that is completely close to reality can make people doubt their own doubts. Han Tao stopped and stared at her quietly. The fingers of his left hand gripped the bowstring tightly. If anything went wrong at all, arrows with concentrated biphosphatoxin would come out in an instant. The appearance, demeanor, convergence, soul power intensity, soul power fluctuations, and soul power characteristics are all similar. Soul frequency, convergence. Did I really see it wrong? Ning Rongrong, can you summon your martial spirit? Ning Rongrong did not doubt that he was there, and used her soul power to summon her own 9 treasure glazed tower. 9 colored rays of light fell from the sky, and a strong oppression swept over his own blue-silver grass. Han Tao once again felt that the strength of blue-silver grass was oppressed by this energy. This Ning Rongrong, is a completely real existence. Put away your martial spirit. She made a faint nasal sound. No clues found. The frequency of soul power and the restraint of the 9 treasure glazed tile pagoda made Han Tao no longer doubtful. Turned his head and continued walking forward. Walk and think. Doubt still lingered in Han Tao's mind. Why? Why is acacia heartbroken red and loses its bright red color? With grass jelly, you can't go wrong. After hesitating and walking around, Han Tao took out the bottle of rainbow again at a corner. Inside lies a small flower. As the air flowed in, she gradually changed, just as Han Tao expected, as if being drenched in blood. Bits and pieces of red emerged from the grass blades, gradually infecting the entire fairy grass, alluring and bleeding. It seems that I guessed wrong. Come here in half a day. Sunset forest, middle level of poison barrier. A head gradually poked out of the surface that was eroded by the poison barrier and turned purple and faded in color. The sunlight after a long period of darkness was particularly dazzling. Han Tao squinted his eyes and observed the surroundings, but compared to the dazzling sunlight, the sharp pain on his skin made Han Tao more aware. Jade phosphorus poison barrier. The poison barrier in the middle layer is still very strong. Han Tao unfolded his blue-silver poison barrier, wrapping himself and Ning Rongrong behind him. No, where is Ning Rongrong? After coming out, Han Tao discovered that there was no one behind him. Didn't she come out with me? Could it be? Is this all an illusion? This is a terrible guess. If everything that happened before was an illusion, this fact was verified. That meant that something escaped from Binghuo Liangyi's eyes. It should be jelly grass, some kind of jelly grass with hallucinogenic abilities. These are not scary, the scary thing is, Han Tao thought for a long time, but still couldn't figure out the reason, so he had no choice but to sigh. Forget it, let's go back to the sect first. Returning to the Qibao glazed sect, Han Tao knocked on the door of the sect leader's mansion. Ning Fengji was sitting on the chair next to her, and there was a big orange lying on the main seat of the desk. Seeing Han Tao come in, it raised its head slightly and called out meow for a while. Han Tao was suddenly startled and took half a step back. His eyes inadvertently glanced over Ning Fengji's face. After a long time, he asked, "Master, where did you get a cat?" Ning Fengji put down the teapot and took out a torn copy of Natural Taming, Cats that she actually gave him a serious explanation. This is a specialty of the Xingluo Empire, the desert camouflage star element of the nether spirit cat. How is it? Is it beautiful? Is it expensive? Han Tao followed Ning Fengji's thoughts and asked. Of course, the price of ordinary nether spirit cats is over 10,000, and the ones with better appearance will only be more expensive. And my desert camouflage cat only needs this number. He used his fingers to draw a 9 mark. 9,000. No, it's 90,000, a full 96,000 gold soul coins. Han Tao felt uncomfortable for some reason. He suddenly felt that his master's brain was broken. This kind of behavior of being cheated would actually happen to him, even if the 7 treasures glazed sect is rich and powerful and does not need these 1 or 800,000, it can't do this even if it has money. It would be better to give it to me. 96,000 gold soul coins are enough to buy 32,000-year-old blue silver grasses, or 32 grams of meditation tea. Ning Fengji straightened his face and asked, "Is there anything you need to come here this time?" Han Tao paused. Originally, he had something to say, but now he was a little suspicious of his master's mental state and it was not convenient to say more. "It's okay, go ahead." Seeing that Han Tao was a little worried, he waved his hand and smiled. "Did you see Ning Rongrong just now?" Ning Rongrong was 1 step faster than Han Tao. According to his reasoning, she should have arrived at the sect before him. No, shouldn't she still be in the Yin-Yang eyes of ice and fire now? What, did something unexpected happen? Han Tao nodded. "I went there 2 days ago and met Ning Rongrong. But when I came out, something happened." Chapter 85, High-Level Spirit Master. You are listening at NovelFull.audio. Have you been to Yin-Yang Eye of Ice and Fire? Ning Fengji slapped the table and stood up suddenly. You can go to Yin-Yang Eye of Ice and Fire, but the poison barrier of Sunset Forest is so strong, how can you get in? Even Sword Douluo, can't get through that poison barrier, how can you get in? Blue-silver poison barrier. Even the blue-silver poison barrier is not enough for you to pass through the inner circle. Ning Fengji doubted his life. He did not doubt the truth of Han Tao's words, but was a little curious. Can you tell me how you got through that poison barrier? Han Tao hesitated. After thinking for a moment, he replied. I have recently reached a bottleneck in my martial soul research, and I may need a little financial support. How much? Han Tao made the same gesture, the number 9. 900,000. Ning Fengji touched his chin and pondered for a moment, but saw Han Tao's surprised expression. Expressions are contagious. He was also surprised. Damn, you don't want 9 million, do you? No, that's too much. Even if the sect is rich, we can't give it away blindly. I'll give you 2 million at most, and I'll state in advance that you can't buy flowers, whale glue, or anything like that. Ning Fengji listed a lot of strange things, including a lot of gifts for girls. Han Tao was full of suspicion and felt puzzled. After not seeing each other for a few days, what earth-shattering thing did Ning Tian do again? 2 million is a lot, so much that Han Tao couldn't close his mouth when he slept. Originally, he just wanted the price of the cat, 9,600 gold soul coins, but he didn't expect it. The master gave 20 times. Okay, can you tell me how you entered the Yin-Yang Eye of Ice and Fire? Ning Fengji met Han Tao's needs, and then asked with a hint of curiosity. Dig from underground. Han Tao gave the answer, a practical answer, but one that has no meaning of copying. So, you asked me for a map just for this? Yes. Han Tao nodded. Dig from underground. Ning Fengji walked to the side of the desk, took the cat aside, and then took out a whiteboard. The total area of the poison barrier is about 3,000 square kilometers. From the outer circle to the Yin-Yang eye of ice and fire, the straight line distance is more than 50 kilometers. Traveling underground is easy to say, without direction and time, it is actually as difficult as climbing to the sky to avoid getting lost. Han Tao is different. He knows the magnetic field. Blue-silver grass can sense the magnetic field, and he has the blue-silver eye. The blue-silver eye can sense the breath of the 8 aniseed mysterious ice grass and the fiery apricot. It is precisely because of these plugins that this plan has the capital to be implemented. If you change someone else, it is almost impossible to pass through the poison barrier. When I came out, I met Ning Rongrong. Han Tao's expression was very serious. He still doubted the identity of this Ning Rongrong. You met Ning Rongrong in the Yin-Yang eyes of ice and fire, not when you came out. Wait. Ning Fengji reacted. Han Tao continued to narrate. On my way back, I met Ning Rongrong underground. At first, she didn't speak, and I didn't notice anything unusual. But I always felt something was wrong. I opened the rainbow and found that the heartbroken red of acacia was white, and it didn't turn into bright red. She was not the owner of the heartbroken red of acacia. Continue to verify. The soul power fluctuations, appearance, soul power characteristics, and even the martial soul and soul power frequency are exactly the same. When I opened the rainbow again, the heartbroken red of acacia returned to red. Han Tao looked very focused and serious. Ning Fengji was normal. Could it be that long-term pressure caused you to have hallucinations? It is common sense that long-term travel underground is very likely to cause hallucinations. Maybe. Rongrong is your daughter, you should worry about her more. Anyway, I have said everything I should say. Han Tao walked aside and touched the orange cat's head, then he performed a common etiquette, said goodbye, and left the master's mansion. After returning to the dormitory, Han Tao's heart could not calm down for a long time. His suspicion became stronger and stronger. The more he thought about it, the more he felt that Ning Rongrong was not right. Han Tao was doubting. Why did he doubt so much? Because of fear, because of fear. Does Douluo continent have the ability to detect thoughts? Just like the torture he asked when he obtained the soul bone, does Douluo continent have tracking soul skills? The illusion hits the heart directly. In the original Douluo continent, Haihuan Douluo's martial soul is the illusory snake, and the illusion he constructed is the scene of Xiao Wu's sacrifice. How could Haihuan Douluo know the most painful part of Tang San's memory and use it as a means to attack the enemy? Maybe. There really is some means in this world, or martial spirit, that can spy on other people's memories. Ning Rongrong who came out of the underground tunnel, from illusion to reality. The acacia heartbroken red changed from white to red, the originally dull movements gradually became spiritual, and she even learned to speak. She seemed to be growing. So, what is the nourishment? Have my thoughts and memories been read by her? Are they part of the nutrients? Fear, this is the source of Han Tao's fear. Whether she reads my thoughts or not. I need to eliminate this influence. Human thoughts are very private, just like browsing records with double locks, they must not be discovered by others. A few sporadic inspirations emerged in Han Tao's mind. As the Soul Master's level increases, the physical, mental, and soul power will be improved according to the quality of the martial soul. This is common sense and no longer needs to be explained. However, Han Tao is not satisfied with this. Why? Only these few dimensions. 4 Soul Masters, the level increase does not bring comprehensive gains. This is not right, it should not be, and it is not normal. Oh. There is no tracing soul skill, there is no mind-reading ability. Gain type micromanipulation, never heard of. A contest between possibilities and possibilities, what is it? Yes, other Soul Masters, all Soul Masters, do not have this unconventional ability, but other Soul Masters can't do it, so I shouldn't? Is it right if it has been like this since ancient times? If I want to have these abilities. Even if the contest between God Kings is just a contest of strength and strength, a collision of numbers and numbers, there is no strategy, tactics, or combat methods. High-level soul masters should not be so lacking in means. High-level soul masters should crush low-level soul masters. It's not just a crushing of numbers, but also a crushing of means, absolute suppression at all levels. For example, you robbed the opportunity, but don't know who did it. It's very simple, just go back to the past, present the picture, and see who did it. You hid, but don't know where you are. It's also very simple, just track thousands of miles, lock the enemy with luck, and all the flies and dogs will have nowhere to hide, targeting for no reason. Unsure of the enemy's intentions, directly read the mind and read the memory, and naturally know the cause and effect, and this direction can be advanced. Being able to read, further is hinting, and further is tampering. Chapter 86, Medium, Illusion. You are listening at NovelFull.audio. There is a tribute restraint between the Shura god and the Rakshasa god. In Han Tao's opinion, higher-level wars should not be a collision between strength and power, it should be the restraint and anti-restraint of attributes. It is the reading and counter-reading of thinking, a contest between possibilities and possibilities. On one side is AlphaGo, which has had thousands of iterations, and on the other is Dr. Strange, who is in charge of the Time Stone. They compete with countless possibilities and probabilities to find the only chance of victory. Pity, Douluo continent is a low-end plane, perhaps. There is no such high-latitude war here, and there is no need to consider these changes, but it is undeniable that Han Tao can try to understand and master these abilities. Mastering these abilities, Han Tao will become a high-level soul master. A true high-level soul master with no flaws and mastering various extraordinary methods, the oppression of the lower level by the higher level should not stop at the level of power, knowledge theory, calculation ability, practical level, and heretical tricks should all be fully mastered and taken ahead. Only in this way can you truly be invincible. At least, I can't let others read my thoughts. Whether it's an illusion or anything else, it's not okay. It's never allowed. Han Tao took out his diary and wrote down 2 crucial items. Point 1. Find ways to build your own mental defenses. Point 2. Find ways to master and read other people's thoughts. Spear and shield correspond to each other and achieve each other. A person who is good at defense must have strong offensive ability. On the Douluo continent, there are no records of reading minds, reading memories, and thinking. Han Tao searched most of the books in Qibao Glazed Sect and Tiando Royal Academy, but could not find relevant documents. It's as if this ability doesn't exist in this world. It seems that there are no clues here for the time being. In fact, there are 2 directions for inquiry at the moment. One is the fake Ning Rongrong, who has been heard from now. In addition, it is see Douluo on Poseidon Island, but after all, he was far away overseas, and he was a title Douluo, and Bo Saishi, the peerless Douluo, was stationed at Poseidon Island. Can't afford to offend. Wrong. I seem to pay too much attention to the reading of memory and thoughts, because I am too scared and panicked, which leads to wrong exploration. To realize the reading of thoughts and memories, a medium is needed, and almost all soul masters are no exception. The medium is illusion. Illusion, they use illusion to read memories. Han Tao found a certain direction, illusion. There are many soul masters in charge of illusion on Douluo continent. The most famous one is Zhanghui College, Zhanghui Academy, Shrek's stepping stone, Douluo continent's universal supporting role. At that time, I had a lingering dream of martial arts, a clown character who gave Tang San a soul bone, but in the end the soul bone fell into Ning Rongrong's hands. The 7th soul skill created a nightmare illusion, which was broken by Tang San's purple demon eyes. Kenmeng Wuhuan, this is a spiritual martial soul. The 7th soul skill is actually not the true form of the martial soul, but a soul skill. This goes against the common sense of Douluo continent. Students of Zhanghui Academy, 7 gem-like martial arts souls, performed the 7 Shura illusion in the preliminaries, which can make the soul master endure endless torture in the illusion. The 7 treasures glazed pagoda is the sublimation of the gem martial spirit. Ning Rongrong has gained the soul bone of his age again. Perhaps in the original work, she might be able to control the illusion later on. Qiankuan Hot Spring Valley is a place controlled by Ning Rongrong, advanced distraction control methods, schizophrenia, and illusions. Good guy, all the elements are there. Forget it, there is no need to think about it anymore. Han Tao can't help but feel a little scared. Bring the perspective back to the topic. Han Tao made his goal clear. Teachers and students are both familiar with illusions. Perhaps Tsanhui College has a systematic way to advance illusions. Compared with the illusion of a single genius, this kind of systematic advancement is even more valuable, because a single illusion is most likely supported by the talent of a soul master and cannot be replicated. This is an illusion that can be learned, replicated, and gradually deepened. Perhaps it was Han Tao's opportunity to understand thought reading. It is necessary to go to Tsanhui College. Mastering the illusion is not to control the enemy as a means of killing, but to understand the deep connection between consciousness and thinking, and how to realize the reading of thinking and memory in illusions. Record your thoughts in a journal. Ning Rongrong's voice suddenly came to his ears. Han Tao, he was startled. Participating in the National Elite Soul Master Competition, have you chosen your teammates? Ning Rongrong pointed at Han Tao and then at his own nose, with a smile on his face. It's not just the two of us, is it? Han Tao took a serious look at Ning Rongrong. A long time, he looked at her carefully again. Han Tao was not sure whether this Ning Rongrong actually existed, or rather, a certain escaped fairy grass with the two eyes of ice and fire. We have decided on 4 for now, you, me, Yi Lingling, and Ning Tian. When she heard Yi Lingling's name, her eyebrows suddenly tightened. Somewhat unhappy, she said. I think so. Are there too many auxiliary soul masters in the team? There is some overlap in functionality, so we can completely remove one, such as Yi Lingling. Han Tao could not deny it. Compared to Yi Lingling, Ning Tian's existence seemed even more unnecessary. There is already a 9 treasures glazed tower, and adding another tower seems meaningless. It's not like playing Candy Crush. So, Han Tao shook his head. No, there is no healer in our team. Besides, she is also your puzzle piece, so you shouldn't be so shy about her. Ning Rongrong was puzzled. Puzzle? What is a puzzle piece? Do you mean her martial spirit is my puzzle piece? You don't know this, didn't the master teach you? Compared to Ning Rongrong's doubts, Han Tao's suspicions grew stronger. He felt that this Ning Rongrong was fake. Perhaps it was a disguised existence of a certain fairy grass in the Yin-Yang eyes of ice and fire. Come with me. Han Tao wanted to expose her true face, so, Han Tao pulled Ning Rongrong and ran towards the sect master's mansion. Rongrong's face flushed slightly. Where are you taking me? The guards did not dare to stop him, and turned their bodies to the side, pretending not to see. Ning Fengji was reading a book carefully. It was no longer happiness and anger cannot be shown on the face, but Encyclopedia of Immortal Grass provided by Yang Wudi, which recorded various characteristics related to Immortal Grass. The orange cat was lying in the middle of the desk as usual. This place has the best feng shui. Ning Rongrong saw the orange cat, and her eyes were full of stars. I immediately ran forward, hugged the cat in my arms, and kneaded it. Meow. The cat screamed. Han Tao walked up, looked at Ning Fengji, and asked. Master, didn't you tell Ning Rongrong the relevant information about the evolution of the martial soul? Ning Fengji waved his hand casually. Of course I told you. The method of martial soul evolution is not a secret to me. Can it be hidden? Han Tao looked at Ning Rongrong who was standing aside. Chapter 87 Green Lotus Fantasy Lotus. You are listening at NovelFull.audio. But Ning Rongrong doesn't know about puzzle. As someone who has qualified theoretical scores, he shouldn't be so ignorant. Ning Rongrong is not Ning Tian. Even if Ning Tian works hard, he has to rely on the hard work of the elders to pass. Once the seeds of doubt are planted, they only take root and are difficult to eradicate. Ning Rongrong still didn't understand what happened. Han Tao seems, doubting yourself. You're too hasty. Compared to Han Tao's anxiety, Ning Fengji's expression was much calmer. He turned to a certain page in the Encyclopedia of Immortals and handed it to Han Tao. Let's see. Qing Lian Huan Xian Lotus, a kind of fairy grass, a plant that can imitate humans and possess some hallucinogenic abilities. Lotus root itself has the characteristics of transforming into a human being, for example Neza. Ning Rongrong hugged the cat, moved close to Han Tao, and saw the contents of the book. Green Lotus Fantasy Heart Lotus Root. Lotus, lotus root and lotus pod, together constitute a fairy grass, Ning Rongrong recalled for a moment, then licked her lips. I didn't eat it. When I first arrived at the Eye of Ice and Fire, I saw this fairy grass, but later, when I tried to find it again, I couldn't find it. She couldn't remember which jelly she had eaten, but if you ask her what kind of jelly she has never eaten, Rongrong can list them all. It's easy to understand. Since it has hallucinogenic abilities, of course it doesn't want to be eaten by you. Later, when I left the Ice and Fire Eye, it transformed into a human being and escaped after me. Grass jelly should not be underestimated, and Snowy Swan Kiss is an example. The same is true for Chilua tulips. What? It transformed into me. Ning Rongrong's face turned red and her breathing was slightly rapid. How could it do such a thing? Han Tao was a little confused. According to Ning Rongrong, she seemed to have reached some kind of deal with this immortal grass. Rongrong's face couldn't hide any secrets. Ignoring those, Han Tao continued reading the information, carefully, over and over again. Watch the Green Lotus and Fantasy Heart Lotus in the Encyclopedia of Immortals. The illusion presented by Green Lotus Fantasy Heart Lotus depends on the content displayed by the people around it. It had seen Ning Rongrong, seen Ning Rongrong's martial spirit, and seen Ning Rongrong's tone, expression, and behavior, so it was able to disguise itself as Ning Rongrong, pretending to be so similar. Han Tao breathed a sigh of relief. As long as these hallucinations are not read from my memory and thinking. In this way, prevention at the ideological level does not need to be so urgent. While thinking, Han Tao turned to the next page. Methods to verify grass jelly. The illusion and disguise presented by immortal grass cannot hide the perception of tidal Douluo. It is exactly the same as the 100,000-year-old soul beast. When a soul master reaches the level of tidal Douluo, will his perceptual ability undergo a qualitative change. Not only will the ability to fly be unlocked, but many concealment methods will also become ineffective. There are two tidal Douluo in Qibao Glazed Sect. There is a tidal Douluo sitting in charge, and the fairy grass still has some brains, so he probably doesn't dare to come over. It can be inferred from this that this Ning Rongrong is real. Rongrong, do you know where that fairy grass went? Ning Fengji filled a cup of concentration tea, strode forward and asked. I don't know. Ning Rongrong turned her head. The cat in my arms meowed. Ning Fengji shook his head and poured the tea into the plate. The orange cat stretched out its head and was about to take a few licks when Ning Rongrong pushed it back. Well, master, I'll take my leave now. Han Tao quietly took 2 steps back and prepared to leave. Upon seeing this, Ning Rongrong dropped the cat in her arms and followed Han Tao. 2 days later, Han Tao is practicing. Yang Woody slowly walked over with a young man. I heard that you plan to organize a team to participate in the National Elite Soul Master Competition. Han Tao nodded. That's right. Then have you gathered all the staff? No. It just so happens that this is my grandson, Yang Qixin, a level 31 fighting spirit master. His spirit is the soul-breaking gun. Yang Woody pulled the young man in front of Han Tao and introduced his martial spirit and level. The young man has a handsome face, gloomy eyes, and well-dressed clothes. It seems that he does not inherit the ugly gene of the broken family. Yang Woody's face twitched and he stopped talking. Han Tao probably understood what he meant. Patriarch Yang wanted his grandson to join his team and go out for some training. However, due to his status as a clan leader, he is inevitably suspected of using his power for personal gain and oppressing others due to circumstances. In fact, it would be much more appropriate to write a letter of recommendation and let Yang Qixin come to Han Tao himself. But do you want to join my team? Han Tao asked Yang Qixin. Yeah. Yang Qixin nodded. We agreed in advance that if our team wins the championship, the soul bones will not belong to you. Yang Qixin was silent. He felt that Han Tao was a bit unrealistic. You actually want to win the championship? Yang Woody couldn't help asking half a sentence. Certainly. Han Tao asked back. If you don't want to gain soul bones, why are you participating in this competition? Experience. Isn't it a reward to fight and communicate with top peers? Yang Woody frowned. To be honest, he was not optimistic about Han Tao's team. 3 auxiliary soul masters plus a blue silver grass. This lineup can win the preliminaries is quite good. want to enter the finals? Just go to bed. Han Tao covered his forehead. Being in the top 3 sections. This is the conflict of values between him and Yang Wudi. It is the conflict of values between modern people and Douluo soul masters. It is the conflict of ideas between theoretical researchers and bloodline theory. The reason why Han Tao chose the 7 treasures glazed sect is that he has only 2 intentions. The first is the sex protection. The sex protection can allow Han Tao to grow safely. What's the point? In the early stage, completely give up combat effectiveness. Give up the pursuit of combat effectiveness and concentrate on the breakthrough of one's own growth. The pursuit of combat effectiveness requires a lot of time, and the most lacking thing for soul masters in the early stage is time. Combat ability is indispensable in the eyes of all current soul masters. But for Han Tao, it is the part that can be abandoned in the early stage. Personal growth and soul power level are the first key, the second is wealth. Research requires wealth, and without money, you can't move forward. In Han Tao's cognition, theory wealth immortal grass equals soul bone. Yes, immortal grass and soul bone rank behind money, perhaps for local soul masters who believe in bloodline theory and talent theory. Immortal grass is above everything else money can't buy. Immortal grass, money can't buy soul bones, so money is nothing. There is nothing wrong with this conversion. Han Tao doesn't think they are wrong, he is wrong. Money is more valuable than immortal grass, and this equivalent formula is only valid for himself. The 7 treasures glazed sect, is it rich? It's so damn rich. They are so rich that they don't know how to spend their money. When money cannot be converted into strength and cannot be converted into corresponding theories, then it can only be used to enjoy life. The most typical case is Ning Tian. Chapter 88, Center of Gravity, Steps, Dodge. You are listening at NovelFull.audio. The appearance of Yang Qixin made up for the shortcoming of the team's lack of a combat spirit master. The newly formed team needs training and running in to exert its due power. Where is Ning Tian? Has anyone seen Ning Tian? Han Tao randomly found a passerby in the 7 treasures glazed sect and asked about Ning Tian's whereabouts. He should be in the foot washing city. He often goes there recently. To the east of the Tiando Empire, the 3rd club, Ning Tian is a frequent visitor there. Stop. Han Tao did not intend to find Ning Tian. Whether he came or not was not particularly important. Han Tao admitted that his combat experience was basically 0. Let's start training. If you are a rookie, practice more. Han Tao was very impressed. In the Sunset Forest, he was sprayed with the toxin of the biphosphorus flower, which caused him to suffer certain injuries. Why was he injured? Insufficient combat experience is essentially due to his lack of dodge ability. As the saying goes, one failure makes one wiser. The first training subject prepared by Han Tao is Center of Gravity. The center of gravity is essentially a step, and it is a breakthrough for the spirit master to dodge. Yang Qixin, Yi Lingling, and Ning Rongrong came together at Han Tao's call and prepared to start combat training. The training target is Zhao Wuji, the former teacher of Shrek Academy, the Tool Man, a very good combat target. Blue Silver Grass. 9 Treasure Glazed Tower. 9 Heart Begonia. Soul-breaking spear. The 4 summoned their own martial spirits one after another. The seeds of the blue silver grass were scattered all around, and the surrounding environment appeared in Han Tao's mind one by one. Mighty King Kong Bear, combine. The powerful oppression of the Spirit Emperor swept in all directions. Yi Lingling retreated to the back, away from the center of the battlefield. Healing spirit masters cannot play a role before their teammates are injured. Yang Qixin tightly grasped the soul-breaking spear in his hand, which seemed a bit strenuous. Han Tao and Ning Rongrong did not change their expressions. They were already accustomed to the soul pressure, and Zhao Wuji was only a spirit emperor. Zhao Wuji roared, used his soul skills, and attacked quickly forward. Second soul skill, the powerful diamond palm. Han Tao used the natural perception of the blue-silver grass to dodge. Zhao Wuji deliberately slowed down. Han Tao was not a ghost, so it was extremely difficult to dodge. When facing an attack, the Soul Master made a dodging action, which caused the center of gravity to shift. If the dodging action is too large, the center of gravity will definitely shift, and if the center of gravity is unstable, how to dodge the enemy's next attack. The enemy's attack is continuous, so your dodge must also be continuous. Continuous dodging in the state of body movement is not only a powerful explosion, but also a precise grasp of every bit of strength. Reasonable muscle groups, appropriate force, and continuous movements constitute a perfect waltz. This kind of continuous movement will become a habit in long-term training. That is what Han Tao often calls combat experience. Steps. Steps are the first training plan set by Han Tao: no resistance, only dodge. This is Han Tao's requirement for himself, until you completely control the change of your center of gravity, from the shallow to the deep, step by step. Pay attention to the position of the footsteps. The coordination of the waist and legs, the change of the force direction, guide the whole body to move to one side. The external perception given by the blue-silver grass seeds gave Han Tao a more sensitive sense of movement, and he immediately noticed Zhao Wuji's force, and then made a response strategy. After several attacks without success, Zhao Wuji sat down on the spot. This is the first time I have seen a soul master like you who can run so fast. Zhao Wuji took 2 breaths. Han Tao smiled. Now, it's not time to train counterattacks. Combat experience is a major subject. It is very simple to learn quickly. Disassemble it and train the disassembled parts specifically. Control the center of gravity and dodge continuously, which is the first part. Zhao Wuji also heard this for the first time. Ning Rongrong was a little curious and asked, "What about the second part?" That Yi Lingling pricked up her ears to listen. Dodge with leverage. Several people slowly typed a question mark. Han Tao sighed and began to explain. The enemy's attack speed may exceed our dodge limit, and in the face of such an attack, we must take some damage to ensure that our body's center of gravity does not shift. To ensure the continuity of dodge, we can even withstand certain damage. With the help of the enemy's attack, we can achieve the transformation of the center of gravity and the transformation of the position, forming an opportunity for counterattack. Ning Rongrong's eyes were shining. She was eager to try. Then the next step should be to counterattack. Yeah. Han Tao nodded. Protecting your own center of gravity and destroying the enemy's center of gravity are mutually corresponding. For example, Rongrong, you can use your amplification soul skills to destroy the enemy's center of gravity and interfere with the enemy's attack intention. The micromanipulation involving muscles, amplification, and center of gravity destruction is very valuable. However, the blue-silver grass evolution route given to Han Tao by Ning Rongrong is even more valuable. In fact, your first soul skill is extremely powerful. Any direction, any angle, regardless of soul power, to achieve the application of force. Han Tao stared at Ning Rongrong's nose seriously. Really? Am I that powerful? Ning Rongrong smiled faintly. As we all know, on Douluo continent, almost all the soul masters who increase their power will see a reduction in the percentage of their power increase as the power of the target increases. The reduction in the percentage of power increase is affected by 2 factors. One is because of the fixed power increase. As the attributes of the soul master's panel increase, the fixed value of the power increase decreases proportionally. There is another, most important factor. Soul power will affect the effectiveness of the power increase soul skills. The stronger the soul power, the less likely it is for others to interfere with it, and the power increase and loss will be reduced. But the 7-treasure glazed tower is a 1 in a million exception. I'm curious, how is this achieved? Ning Rongrong's face froze. She made a bitter face and waved her hand. Han Tao, please come with me. Ning Rongrong carefully pulled Han Tao to the corner, looking around suspiciously. She was about to speak after making sure that no one was around, but Han Tao covered her mouth with his hand. Don't worry. Han Tao then thought that Xiefeng had a secret method of detection. If I tell him here, it will be useless for him to hear. No. Then, the 2 of them moved to a more private place. In fact, there are also very few soul masters in the 7 treasures glazed tile sect who can achieve percentage increase. Remember the distraction control method my father taught you? Han Tao thought for a while. Is there any connection between the 2? Yes. Ning Rongrong's expression was a little serious. Soul power includes soul power characteristics and soul power frequency. The seventh level of the distraction control method completes the complete control of soul power frequency. When my soul power frequency is synchronized with the frequency of other soul masters, the effect of the gain will not be reduced. The answer is so simple. No. This is not simple either, it is very difficult, very difficult. Han Tao can imagine how complicated the operation will be when the 7 treasures glazed tile tower grows to the later stage. Damn, just a real-time gain is already against the sky. There is also the distraction control method, and the soul power must be synchronized. This is more than complicated. The 7 treasures glazed sect is a well-deserved top 3 sect. The unparalleled strength is based on the extremely complicated operations behind it, and comes from the demanding micro-precision. Chapter 89, Anti-Cracking of Soul Power Frequency. You are listening at NovelFold.audio. Soul power can isolate amplification. The soul power of a high-level soul master, soul power of sufficient quality, has specific attributes and frequencies. This unique property can avoid the gain or loss of other auxiliary soul masters. Suppose, my soul power frequency is mastered by others. What will happen? It's like a completely broken wall, an undefended wall. Others can penetrate your soul power through the same frequency means. There are many follow-up means: infiltration, assimilation, devouring, subversion, and taking possession. In Douluo continent, there is little research on this field, but it does not mean that it does not exist. For example, same frequency resonance. Same frequency resonance that helps Han Tao open up the 8 meridians. If it is implemented as a killing method, how deterrent will it be? Linking the enemy's soul power only takes a moment to completely destroy the internal organs and meridians. What Ning Rongrong said was just ordinary, but for Han Tao, it meant more than that. Distraction control method, 7th level. This secret method has unimaginable significance. 9 treasures glazed tower. It's really an unimaginable martial soul. Ning Fengji is not a fool. Chilua Tulip helped the 7 treasures glazed tower to make up for the power of the perception and real-time gain. Distraction control method requires soul masters to constantly calculate, constantly change, optimize their own operations again and again, and iterate the auxiliary logic again and again, which is to hone their own computing power, and same frequency resonance. Unimaginable killing methods, and the illusion of gem-type martial soul sublimation. May be the last piece of the puzzle of the digital dimension field, depending on the power of the control and, from then on. 9 treasures glazed tower has no flaws. The illusion of gem-type martial soul sublimation involves the cracking and reading of thinking. If you want to gain, you have gain. If you want to control, you have control. If you want to kill, you have killing. If there is no need to take action, then these abilities are kept as trump cards. If she needs to take action, she will give everyone a surprise. My thoughts cannot be read. My frequency cannot be cracked. My martial soul cannot be restrained. Just a simple study, 3 unimaginable and insurmountable obstacles appeared. Of course, if he does not study, this problem will not arise. However, the problem exists in the objective, not in the subjective influence of people. If you do not study and explore, the moment you face it, it may be a life and death crisis. Pushing open the door of the dormitory. The maple leaves gradually falling in the sky are as sad as his thoughts. Yes, Han Tao's thinking and memory. And soul power frequency are all defenseless. As long as a soul master studies any field and comes up with the corresponding attack method, Han Tao can be easily hurt. It can't be like this. Han Tao sighed, although, on the Douluo continent, from the title Douluo to the newly awakened soul master, they are not defensive against these. They are like this. Should I be like this? Han Tao denied it. Respect the difficulties of reality and make peace with yourself. Han Tao calmed down and thought about it one by one. Difficulties can be broken down into units one by one, and then solved one by one. Mind reading is a special method that uses illusion as a medium. Han Tao does not have illusion, so he has no way to get involved for the time being, but the clues have been revealed. There may be a systematic way of growing in illusion at Sanhui Academy. As for the soul power frequency, Han Tao summoned his blue-silver grass. Blue light emerged one by one under the effect of soul power, circling around the martial soul. Deeply perceive, analyze, and draw corresponding conclusions. The soul power frequency depends on the soul master's application of soul power. Even different soul skills show different soul power frequencies. Take the blue silver eye as an example. The blue silver eye in 1100 and the blue silver eye in 9999 do not show the same soul power frequency, although similar, they are not consistent. No wonder. In the Chibaoyoli sect, real-time gain is a required course. It's easy to understand. Because the frequency of each soul skill is different, she needs to adjust her frequency according to your frequency and apply gain, first sense, then simulate, then apply, and complete in a short moment. It's very cumbersome and very fancy, so it must be real-time, and it can only be real-time. So, what if it's a teammate? After a long period of cooperation, your soul skill frequency will be recorded by her. The next time you apply gain, it won't be so troublesome, just use the previous frequency to apply gain, but at the same time. The frequency of teammates who have been given gain has been controlled by others. It's equivalent to your life being handed over to her. At this moment, Han Tao opened his mouth and took a deep breath, killing people and destroying their hearts, so terrifying. So terrifying. It doesn't matter whether Ning Rongrong has the intention to hurt herself at this time, the key is not to be controlled by others. He came to the edge of the window and gently wiped it from the side of the window sill with his fingers. The raindrops and dust stuck together and stuck to my fingers, and I couldn't get rid of them. The scalp felt disgusted, and it was transmitted to Han Tao's mind. How to achieve the anti-cracking of soul power frequency? Change your own soul power frequency. This doesn't seem to be a difficult point. Changing your own soul power frequency is too easy. You only need to change the practice speed of meditation to adjust your own soul power frequency. But, is this useful? Not sure. Han Tao certainly hopes it is useful, but objectivity is not moved by will. Reality is often cruel and cold. Verify it. Wiping off the mud on his fingers, Han Tao pushed open the door of the dormitory and walked out. Ning Rongrong, turning around, the sunlight reflected a bright light and shadow in the pupils. Seeing Han Tao, her step staggered. Is there something you want to find me today? Yeah. Han Tao nodded. This time I came to you to verify a theory. About soul power frequency. Oh. Ning Rongrong bit her finger and thought for a moment, then he opened the soul guide, searched for a long time, and took out a book called Soul Power Characteristics. Han Tao was a little surprised, because just yesterday, Ning Rongrong told him that the premise of achieving the gain effect is frequency synchronization. Obviously, she knows the concept of soul power frequency, then why did she find this book? Humble, knowing this concept does not mean comprehensive mastery. Finding books, comparing your own knowledge, and sorting them out will lead to more appropriate conclusions. This is a seemingly insignificant skill she learned from Han Tao. How do you need to test? There was a hint of curiosity in her eyes. Use your skills to buff me. So simple. Well, it's that simple. Chapter 90 Motion State. You are listening at novelfull.audio. The 9 treasures turn out to be colored glaze. The 9 treasures have names. One of them is power. Ning Rongrong's first yellow soul ring lit up, the gain gradually enveloped Han Tao's body. Han Tao carefully sensed the frequency of increasing soul power and the specific effects. Since she released her soul skill, the frequency of her soul power has not remained unchanged, but has been converging towards my frequency. Until we reach an agreement on the frequency of my soul power. Yes, it's not that simple. Indeed, Han Tao can change the frequency of his soul power, but the opponent's methods are more unpredictable, and they are auxiliary soul masters who have mastered real-time buffs. Feel free to modify your own frequency changes and reach an agreement with you at any time. Once an agreed frequency is reached, each party's means can be presented. Although there may not necessarily be methods targeting frequency on the Douluo continent, no one can say for sure. Escape and tamper with the soul power frequency again. It is easy to change the frequency of one's own soul power, adjust the progress of the meditation method, slow down the speed of your own practice, and so on. Ning Rongrong smiled secretly. I know what tests you're going to do. She followed up on her own frequency changes and tried her best to reach an agreement with Han Tao on the frequency increase. Han Tao tampered with his own frequency again and again, for 5, 6, 7 or 8, there seemed to be a sudden realization. Just keep changing the frequency and turn this behavior into a habit. Movement. A fixed state cannot cope with changing states, and the continuous changes are the moving soul power frequency. It is not only suitable for offense, but also for defense. It is difficult for the enemy to agree on the frequency of movement and form an effective attack. But, this is so troublesome. Changing the frequency of soul power requires constant adjustment of the meditation method. Keep adjusting and never stop. Han Tao finally discovered that none of the secret methods of the Qibao glazed sect is simple. This is true for real-time gain, and this is true for distraction control methods, and now, the motion frequency is also so cumbersome. Pfft. Ning Rongrong couldn't hold back her laughter. If you want to become stronger, why bother and make a fuss? Han Tao looked at Ning Rongrong's face very seriously for a long time. Her cheeks were slightly red, but she looked embarrassed. I didn't need to study the supplementary study list. But I heard that someone forced my name on it. Ning Rongrong shook her head instinctively. Have no idea. Maybe Dad added you in because he saw that you like to study theory. She doesn't seem to be able to lie. As Ning Rongrong spoke, she shrank and buried her head in her chest. Han Tao sighed slightly. I'm not saying this to pursue anything. In fact, the auxiliary study list has been of great help to me. The frequency of soul power comes from the characteristics of soul power in the auxiliary study list, but this theory is not paid attention to by soul masters. However, if used properly, it will cause extremely horrific damage. Ning Rongrong worked hard to enlarge her eyes. With a face full of curiosity and confusion, he asked, really? Of course. Han Tao waved his hand casually. Attack and defense involving soul power frequency. He has already studied the first half, the moving soul frequency, which can effectively prevent enemy attacks. The application scope of this theory is not limited to defense. Same frequency resonance can produce extremely impressive damage. Same frequency soul power can realize the penetration between soul powers. The soul power of a soul master is naturally capable of defense and has exclusive functions. The second theory seems to be prepared for the 9 treasures glazed pagoda, but in fact it is not the case. Han Tao can also use his own soul skills. Biphosphorus toxin was transformed by Han Tao using his soul power. The soul power no longer defends itself from the phosphorus poison. What a terrifying concept this is. Penetrating the enemy's soul defense is as easy as penetrating a piece of paper. If frequency synchronization is achieved, can it make up for the lack of sharpness of the weapons? This is a way to make up for a shortcoming. The jade phosphorus arrows condensed by Han Tao have extremely terrifying lethality against soul masters, but its difficulty in hitting is its flaw. The arrow edge made of cold jade is difficult to penetrate the enemy's soul defense. This is a difficult problem, a difficulty that has troubled Han Tao for a long time. At this moment, with the breakthrough of theory in the field of frequency, this difficulty has been solved. Zhao Wuji. Han Tao found the experimental subject. Then, Han Tao called Yi Lingling again. If Zhao Wuji didn't block it, the toxin would most likely be life-threatening. Teacher Zhao, I will carry out a very lethal attack next. I hope you will take precautions. Zhao Wuji nodded, summoned its powerful diamond bear, and possessed it. Come on. He yelled. Next, Han Tao stopped moving, which puzzled Zhao Wuji. Han Tao is not without action. He is constantly adjusting his meditation method to achieve a change in frequency. Trying tricks is a must, but if it is the 7th level of the distraction control method, it may not be so troublesome. A long time. At a certain moment, at the end of the soul power, bursts of resonant loud sounds were heard. Now, the time has come. Bend your arms, draw your bow, gather your strength, and wait for the arrow to be fired. Are you ready? You can activate your martial soul body. Han Tao gave another warning. Zhao Wuji smiled, not caring about Han Tao's warning at all. What a joke. It's not that he looked down on Han Tao, but what kind of threat can a small soul master pose? Come on. I can't wait any longer. Han Tao shook his head. It's hard to persuade the damned ghost with good words. Even though he had reminded him again and again, Zhao Wuji still didn't take it seriously and was unwilling to activate his martial soul body. Yi Lingling, get ready for treatment. Han Tao had no choice but to tell Yi Lingling to do the follow-up. The arrowhead emitting blue light had a deep green lurking inside. This was the terrifying green phosphorus poison, condensed to the extreme. Whoosh. The light and shadow flashed by. The speed was equivalent to that of a sensitive attack soul master, but it did not attract Zhao Wuji's attention. The cold jade arrowhead collided with his soul power. The green phosphorus toxin exploded outside the body. Corrosion, strong corrosion, penetrating Zhao Wuji's soul power, began to corrode his body. Severe pain. The toxin was like a spider web, cracking and spreading on his body. Sweat dripped from Zhao Wuji's face, and he used all his strength to display his martial soul true body. The powerful King Kong bear, with soul power, spirit, and physique, was presented as one. The defense and resistance capabilities were fully enhanced, and only then could they barely resist Han Tao's poison. The first soul skill, treatment, that Yi Lingling's healing soul skills had been prepared long ago. Without Han Tao's instructions, 3 soul skills were applied to Zhao Wuji in succession. Han Tao hurriedly stepped forward and withdrew his own soul power toxins. 2 hours later, Zhao Wuji recovered. I was careless. I should have opened my martial soul true body earlier. He glanced at Han Tao. His tone was a little low, but there was no additional action. Originally, according to his personality, he should have summoned his martial spirit and beat Han Tao up. However, he thought of some bad memories. He immediately stopped.